Someone asked the following question this morning in the Ask the Rabbi Shir, so I want to share it with you and tell you the answer. The question was, if somebody is in Chutz La'aretz, somebody's outside of Eretz Yisrael, difficult for me to comprehend why that should be, but apparently there are still some Jews in Chutz La'aretz. Can you light the Chanukah menorah outside, like the Gemara says? Can you do what the Gemara says? I think the answer to that question is that, as with most things, we are trapped by the minhag. We're trapped in lighting the Chanukah menorah the way we always lit the Chanukah menorah. So even though originally everybody lit the Chanukah menorah outside, everybody was in Eretz Yisrael, over the course of time, because of historical considerations, the non-Jewish world in which we lived was not amenable to us lighting the Chanukah menorah outside. We began to light the Chanukah menorah inside, even on the table in the house. Today, it's generally accepted that we light the Chanukah menorah in a window facing the Reshut HaRabim, if we have such a window facing the public thoroughfare. But we don't light the Chanukah menorah outside of our house. In Eretz Yisrael, the claim was made that they always lit the Chanukah menorah outside. I'm not sure what this claim is based on, but it is true that most serious mitzvah doers in Eretz Yisrael, who number themselves amongst the community of yeshiva students, light the menorah outside. But it's well known that Hasidim, who are kind of very closely tied to the minhag of their fathers, when they came to Eretz Yisrael, they continued to light the Chanukah menorah exactly the same way that they lit it in Chutz La'aretz. So that in Belz, for example, where they have every night they have a big party around the Rebbe lighting the Chanukah menorah, and after he lights the Chanukah menorah, the choir, the Belz choir, sings, and the performance is very interesting, very good, very high quality, because they work hard on the choir and they have a great sound system, etc. Nevertheless, when he lights the menorah, first of all, he lights the candles at 8 p.m. because that's apparently the time that they did it in Belz, even though 8 p.m. doesn't make any particular sense in Yerushalayim, but that's when they light the Chanukah menorah. And the second thing is that they light the Chanukah menorah in the big room that they use for the tishim, because it's the only room big enough to contain all the Hasidim that come to participate. So they light the Chanukah menorah in the cheder, in this room of the tishim, which doesn't really have any windows in it. It certainly is not faced to the Reshut HaRabim, but he lights the Chanukah menorah. He lights the Chanukah menorah in one end of the room, a very big menorah that stands on the floor, kind of in the room itself, and he has to get up on a little staircase to get to the cups of oil. But there is no relationship between his lighting the menorah and the idea that you should light at Shkiat HaChama, at the sunset, or the idea that it should be in a window facing the Reshut HaRabim. All of those things are not part of the Hadlakat Nerot of the Belzer Rebbe, and it is true that many of the Rebbeim who live in Eretz Yisrael, each of them has some idea of lighting the menorah, which doesn't fit into this concept. So again, getting back to the beginning, I think it would be unreasonable for somebody in Chutz La'aretz to light the Chanukah menorah at Shkia, but you should continue to light the Chanukah menorah as was customary in the place where you were born, the tradition that you received from your fathers, etc. Have a happy Chanukah.